Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Katelyn Richards. She has just released a fantastic new record called Inevitable, and I am super excited to talk to her all about it. Caitlin, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. As I mentioned, you're my first interview of the year. How are
Woohoo!
you doing? Yeah, congrats to you. How are you doing? What's
Thank you.
up?
Doing great. It's been a really productive holiday season, also relaxing.
Clearly.
Gigs. I played in Times Square on New Year's Eve. That was
Oh my goodness.
pretty
But that was
crazy.
that a complete mess, or was it fun, or
It was a lot of
sounds
playing.
terrifying?
Yeah, I was in a bar literally like 7 doors down from where the ball dropped.
Wow, okay, so you were able to see everything, I assume.
Pretty much as soon as, the show was over, I just walked over and the confetti was raining down. It was really exciting.
I love that. Well, I wanna talk about this record because, as I mentioned, it is
Good.
wonderful, and I've had the opportunity to listen a couple times. I really just wanna kick this off with, what is it about? Like, are these individual stories? Is there an overarching message? Like, what's the big thing?
I mean, it's a concept album. I went through a crazy, life-changing breakup. It was a band breakup. It was a relationship breakup. It was an engagement to who I thought was my life partner, and us that it wasn't working. It was inevitable that this was over. It was time to move on, and just having that feeling, knowing that something's inevitable. Like I just kind of collected all the songs that I've written over the past, almost decade. There are some, rewrite, recompositions, re-releases rather, that just fit the storyline. I would say of, just
Yeah, of course.
it's a rebirth album
I
basically.
understand. About how long did it take you to put this together? I imagine that it took a while just based on the stories and everything that's gone into it.
Well, this is my third album.
Right, right.
From 2016 to 2021 is when I finished it. Um, yeah, it took me a little while to just be ready to be back in the recording studio again because I recorded with my previous person, and
No, that
now,
completely makes sense.
yeah,
In terms of the actual production though, like, you operate as a solo artist, but do you have a team helping you in terms of like instrumentals and just like outs, because it's so difficult to put together a record nowadays, especially alone.
yeah. Well, I was actually able to take the reins on the production side of it,
Oh,
having
nice.
been in bands and been in the recording studio and been around the scene so long. Like I knew what kind of quality I wanted, and like living in New York for the past 12 years, I've been able to network with, you know, Suzanne Vega's bass player
Sure.
and a drummer who used to open for Santana, and
That's amazing.
just meet some really incredibly accomplished musicians. And just like my friend group alone, there's just so much talent, like with the violin and the backup singer, and just connections to the keyboard player who played with the Black Keys, just stuff like that. Like I was just
That's nice.
able to reach out and just use the connections. Thou shalt use thy connections, 11th commandment. I've been told.
Absolutely. Hey, when it comes to music, you kind of need to use what's at your disposal, especially being in New York, though. You've got these connections. It's like, and it just goes to show that as talented as you are, like, it helps having these outside forces to sort of like, prop things up, make them pop a little bit more. But the production itself is fantastic. So congrats on doing that.
Well, Matt Chiaravale is a genius.
Sure.
He's around the New York scene since he could talk.
Nice.
And
Um,
we were connected through the drummer, and we just sat in a room together, and it just clicked.
yeah,
I'm the type of style he works with, like kind of Rolling Stones meets like what's going on today.
sure.
Um, and he's the kind of producer that I wanted to work with, just laid back, super knowledgeable. He did all the guitar parts on it himself, not the acoustic, but the electric
Sure.
parts. And we got to sit side by side and just kind of like run the show as far as mixing and dynamics and just piecing it all together. It was
Nice.
really exciting.
There's so many individual moments that I feel are standouts on this record, but one thing that I really was hoping that you could break down for me is like, there's a ton of different styles and genres that have gone into this. Like, it does pull from so much, and I even have trouble calling it what it is because it is pulling from so much. So I would love to hear from you, like, what's the elevator pitch for this? Like, how would you describe it to someone who's never listened before?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm a singer-songwriter,
Sure.
um, and I sort of have been called a musician's musician ever since I
I like
started.
that.
And I
Sure.
started my journey in playing cover songs in bars, and yeah, I'm still doing that. But like, it's it's just me and my guitar a lot of the times. So in my brain, I'm being backed up by all these different bands from all these different genres, styles, time periods. And when I get in the studio, I don't think that one set of instruments really can lock down like what the message is per song.
Sure.
And my previous albums are pretty much the same. I just kind of jump ship with genre because, you know, it makes more sense for the song. I
Yeah.
speak more for the individual songs than I do like my brand, I guess.
Exactly. Well, I know everything has its own personality, which I really enjoy. Like, at the same time, you're pulling from a lot, which is its own thing, but at the same time, it has this cohesiveness about it where you don't feel like you're getting whiplash listening from song to song. They do their own thing, but then they come back together to create this album experience, which feels like a rarity nowadays. It's something that I personally love and feels like a lost art. So thank you. I
That's
don't know if that was the intention, but it's certainly
Thank you.
working.
I really appreciate
So,
it. I
yeah,
appreciate all
okay,
of that.
totally. Obviously, I don't want to take too much focus off of this, but I do, we're at the new year. I want to know, like, do you think you'll plan to experiment with your sound or on future projects potentially do the same thing where you like start at this core and do a little, outside of it?
I mean, it's been my pattern, with my albums, like, just speak to the song however I feel like the
Sure.
inspiration needs to go, but this is the most cohesive project I've ever put together, and I like that element. I think it's safer, to move forward as far as, putting together the band,
Yeah.
getting to festivals, and doing what I really wanna do is play my music for a living
Yeah.
as opposed to continuing on this path of playing other people's.
Of course. As you've done this, though, obviously you're not new to music, but has your process changed of actually starting a song or creating things?
Oh,
Either
extremely.
refining the process or finding that, that thing that works for you.
I find what works for me is being completely lost for a good portion.
Okay. Wait, in what way though? What do you mean?
um,
Like in life or
oh no, like when I start
okay,
a new piece
okay.
of music,
Got it.
yeah, I'm like, oh, this has been done before, like, but everything's been done
Sure.
before. It's time to,
That is true.
focus. Like right now, it's like the work side of it as opposed to the creative side of it that I need to like work on.
That's
Just finish the song. Just finish a song. The rest can
completely
be
reasonable.
post.
Is there something that you look forward to the most when embarking on a new song, whether it be like the sweet relief of being finished with it or that first moment that's like, oh, I think I've got something here?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
breakthrough of, here's the bridge. Oh my god, it's
sure.
simple. Or like, oh, what if I have 2 bridges? That I'm working on. That hasn't
Ooh, there you go, the double bridge.
happened.
um, okay, so you mentioned, playing shows and this and that. Do you have anything in the books or upcoming that you'd like to plug surrounding that?
That I would like to plug. Oh my goodness.
Plug away.
Yeah, see the shows. I mean, I okay, so I have this tour, but it's not until August.
Oh, that's far.
Yeah. See, everything else
Okay.
is just local New York, regular bar stuff.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, we've got listeners everywhere, so if you've got
Okay.
local stuff, please go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess just go to the website.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have links so people can check out
'Cause
everything.
I
Don't
keep
worry about that.
realizing, so if I, put up one thing, everyone else is gonna be like, "Well, why didn't you plug my place?"
Oh, yeah. People get too jealous nowadays.
Well, it's just
Um,
there's just a lot.
I
There's so
understand.
many different.
Um, Well, I do want to know what an actual live set looks like from you. Is it all originals? Do you throw any covers in there? Like, what's the atmosphere like?
So when I'm with the band, which I don't have anything on the books for yet
Sure.
this year, it'll be 99% originals, and then that
Cool.
one
No, I prefer
cover out
that.
of nowhere
Yeah,
could be anything from Crowded House to Ricky Martin. It really,
that is an eclectic mix right there. My goodness.
um,
Okay.
and then the cover shows. I mean, everything from Crowded House to Ricky Martin.
Everything in between.
Really,
I love that.
the Beatles. But yeah, it's just I don't even know what I'm gonna play until I get behind the microphone and I look around like, okay, here
That's
we go.
great. Okay, well, how about this? If there are two songs on this record that you're most looking forward to playing in a live setting,
Mm, okay.
or even ones that you would just recommend anyone check out, before they listen to the full thing. Although I do recommend listening from start to finish anyway.
Thank you. Um, so Inevitable was the, title track. It is the turning point of when I knew that, it's time to start over.
Yeah,
And it has a very like movie-esque kind of feel to it. It wasn't supposed to, but when I decided like we need to have piano on top of this, it just sort of opens this, I don't know, a montage in my own brain.
yeah,
It's just a lot of times people report to me on this song in particular. So I'm really glad that it has the reach that I wanted it to. City Speed was not my favorite, but the way that the production came out, it has turned into, a top song of mine.
sure.
One of my overarching themes in a lot of my songwriting is seasonal affective disorder, which is this time of year. That
Yes.
depression that just, ugh,
It's really
especially here on the East Coast, it's already dark. It's 4:30.
oh
Like
yeah.
yeah, it got dark at 4:30. Um, so my song "Fake News Blues" is like kind of like a fun play on that. Like it sounds upbeat, but it's really like, no, I'm depressed. Don't be a bitch.
No, I love that. No, seriously, because I mean, obviously, you're not the only person to do that, but the juxtaposition between that happy feeling that the music gives off, and then you actually like take the time to connect the dots, and you're like, oh, see where this is going. I love that more than anything because it's in a way it sort of picks apart like who's paying attention and who's not.
Yeah,
Obviously, people listen to music for different reasons, but
true.
yeah, I mean, you clearly put the effort into the songwriting, might as well pay attention to that.
Thank you.
Love that. Well, you've already touched on a few points that are coming up in the new year, but because we're right at the beginning, I would love to know like what are some lofty goals, some things that you'd like to accomplish, or just some things that you'd like to see happen, hopefully by year's end.
Um, I'd like to get my management team back together. We sort of fell apart right
Sure.
after the release, and that wasn't anyone's fault. It was just circumstantial. But we've been in touch about the new year and what we need to do.
Sure.
Um, I'm also working with a really close friend on starting an entertainment company, so that we can sort of call the shots as far as,
Yeah.
we want to put the shows together. And once we put the shows together, we can play the shows, as well as give
Surely.
our friends and all of our favorite bands, a place to play. And then also, my tour schedule is coming together. I have a tour manager that, he's doing his own tours, and that's how he has so much knowledge and how to put it together. So it's really hard to like, you know, get the work done.
Right.
Um, but he's plugging away, I believe.
Nice.
And
Okay.
then just getting, the know-how on how to submit to festivals and all that stuff like that. And
Right. So
being able,
lots to look forward to,
yeah,
lots of things on the plate. And you know what? I have no doubt that you're going to accomplish some, if not all of those, because, but it's like a day by day process. It
oh yeah.
doesn't happen overnight. I've got a couple more questions for you. I want to know, obviously, no real music has come out this year, but what were some things that you were listening to last year? And is what you listen to have any actual impact on the music that you make, or do you try to keep the two separate?
I mean, I always have my ear to the ground as to like what's hot and like what's
Yeah.
catching people's attentions and stuff. And like sometimes it jumps out, and sometimes it's like, why?
Sure.
So, obviously Maggie Rogers like really was like the breakthrough
Yeah.
album of the year. And I liked a lot of it. And I'll cover a couple here and there.
Huh.
Um, and like Wet Leg was one that I was like, why? But now I get it. Like
Yeah.
I actually saw them like perform on. I was in the audience at the Seth Meyers show, and they like
That's
did
awesome.
their debut television performance, and like they just killed it. And it was like, oh, I want
It
to be
makes
that.
sense.
I want
Right. I was also very iffy on them until I saw them live last year, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? They've
totally
got
get it.
a high energy show. This is sick. I love this." Very
Yeah,
cool. Okay, so you've got great taste in music. I'm not surprised in the slightest, but there are plenty more that's the thing with mainstream music nowadays, is like you never know what's gonna jump out and kinda grab you, but
yeah,
it's always a
exactly.
guess. Kaylin, my last question for you is, it's basically for the person that is going to discover you from this. What is an opening message that you'd like to say to them before they listen to your music for the first time?
Um, I have reliable transportation. I have ridiculous work ethic. I'll be
There we
there. I'll be
go.
there on time.
There we go.
Um, anything you want, you just come and find me.
I think that's about as good as it gets right
I'm
there.
ready to go. I am really ready to go.
Amazing. The confidence is just emanating off your body right now. I love it. I love it. Um, Caitlin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're so welcome. Please let me plug your music for you one more time here. If you guys didn't catch it the first time around, there it is. The record is called Inevitable. We will have the links in our article so that you can listen and share and follow along. Obviously, there's so much more coming in this new year, and I'm personally excited. I can't wait to see what happens. But yes, thank you. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Austin.
You are very welcome. I hope to speak soon and
I
have
hope
a
so
great
too.
day.
You too.
All right. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.